But let's go see if we can change any outcomes here. Oh, hello. This is a fun place to be. What the hell? I thought this looked like a shortcut, but maybe not. Maybe around here? Huh? Hey. Wait, is she already dead? No, she's okay. She's okay. Hello.
What are you doing in here? Can't you see this woman is dying? She's been poisoned. She needs the resin of a plant called silphium, but that Culus cubulatus decius won't give it to me.
Oh, right. Items persist. Items persist. So I stole it, and that fucked over everyone in that timeline. But it means I still have it because I made it back to the portal. So now I can give it to her to use in this timeline. Right. Okay. Gonna have to... That's like a major thing to bear in mind.
What? Quick, give it here. Yulia, you need to swallow this. Here, let me help you. Hopefully, in a moment, she should be able to breathe normally. That was extraordinary. How did you know she needed this exact thing? And at this exact moment? Are you some kind of oracle?
Yeah, something like that. I'm a time traveler.
A what? I'm sorry, I must have misheard you. I think it's your accent, because it sounded like you said time traveler. But whatever kind of traveler you are, that was like the gods hearing my prayers and intervening. You just saved a person's life, and you should be proud of yourself. She might even be able to thank you herself in a few moments. And maybe she can tell us who poisoned her, and who she meant when she was muttering about that snake's cruel black eyes. In the meantime, I'm happy to help you with whatever it is you need.
Okay, well, I don't need any of this.
That's a shame. Thanks again for saving Yulia's life. Apollo smiles upon you.
That is very cool. Okay. But now I've used the silphium, so I assume it's no longer in my inventory, right? Oh no, it still is. So maybe I just get to keep that forever. Maybe that's enough. Okay. Hello.
Oh, it's you. Sorry, I'm still a bit out of it. But thanks for trying to help me, I suppose. Was there something you wanted? Lucretia says I'm supposed to rest.
Can I ask what happened?
As much as I'm grateful that you tried to help me, it's just not safe for me to talk about it. Please, no more questions.
I want to know how someone poisoned you without breaking the golden rule.
The golden rule. That's the least of my worries. The gods may be cruel, but Malleolus and Claudia are far crueler.
Is that who poisoned you?
Please, just leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it.
I can't help unless you tell me what happened.
Persistent as Nemesis, aren't you? I can tell you, but it's a long saga.
I have all the time in the world.
All right. I'd been here about a week when it dawned on me I'd be trapped here for the rest of my life. I could hardly breathe, and I knew I had to get out somehow. So when my new friend Aurelia offered me a secret way out, I would have done anything. And then I learned her asking price. 1,000 denarii. She was supposed to be my friend. I told her it would take me years to save up that much. So she suggested I take out a loan from Malleolus. And I did.
Ah. Oh dear. Why would he lend you so much money?
I had to sign an agreement saying I'd work off the debt over 30 years. But I figured I'd be out of here so soon, it wouldn't matter. I paid Aurelia, and she gave me her so-called way out. Do you want to know what it was? Hemlock.
So she poisoned herself.
Drink this, she said, and you'll be out of here in no time. Of course, I demanded my money back, but she refused. She pointed to a sign on her tavern saying, "Let the buyer beware." Then she just looked at me with those cruel black eyes and she laughed.
What a bitch.
She immediately told Malleolus I'd tried to escape without paying him back. Only, he didn't seem upset or surprised at all. In fact, he just thanked her. And that's when I realized the two of them had planned the whole thing from the beginning.
Alright, well, we hate her. Surely that would have broken the golden rule? I mean, not really. Like, they kind of conned you, but they didn't lie. Like, it is a way out, sort of. Like, and you made the choices to, yeah, I don't know. I guess it didn't, yeah, I guess that doesn't really count.
That's what I said to the magistrate. I went to Sentius and begged for help, but he said the law was clear. I'd signed over my labor for 30 years and there was nothing he could do. I thought about resisting too. But Malleolus said if I didn't submit, I'd break the golden rule. And I couldn't be responsible for all those deaths, so he locked me in his villa. Confiscated everything I owned as collateral, and made me wear immodest, humiliating outfits while I worked day in, day out. His wife Claudia was just as bad. She sent me to work on an endless stream of futile, demeaning tasks. I'd be on my hands and knees, scrubbing the floor clean for hours, only for her to pour slop on it and hiss, "You missed a spot." Those two took everything from me. But they forgot to confiscate one thing.
The hemlock.
My hemlock.
Yeah. So you poisoned yourself?
I just wanted it to be over. But it seems I messed that up too. Should have drunk all of it.
Not gonna lie, I feel like you could pretty easily get out of that situation just by saying to Malleolus, look, if you don't, like, let me out, then I'm going to commit a sin, and you're going to die. Like, I feel like he's the kind of guy which would prioritize his own life above all else, from what I've heard so far. So, if she's just like, look, mate, I'm not about this. This is shit. So I'm gonna get us all killed, including you, if you don't let me out. And she shows that she means it, she isn't bluffing, then he'd just have to let her go, because otherwise he's dead. Like, I don't know.
I brought it on myself. I trusted one of the most callous human beings I've ever met, and tried to swindle the other. I don't know how I could have been so stupid.
So what'll happen now?
When I've recovered, I expect their thug Domitius will come for me. He'll escort me back to their villa, and I'll be right back where I started. Only this time, I won't be able to lull myself to sleep at night with the thought of a permanent solution. Honestly, it would have been better if the poison had been allowed to run its course.
Yeesh. I'm sorry, can I do anything to help?
I doubt it. It seems this is the fate the gods have chosen for me, for trying to escape. At least until someone breaks the golden rule. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
I have a better idea. How much would it cost to buy your freedom?
A lot. But it doesn't matter. I made a suicide pact with Ulpius last night.
Oh?
He's in exactly the same position as I am. Malleolus and Aurelia set the same trap for him a month after they did it to me. He and I are in this together. He's probably already thrown himself from the bluff into Malleolus's villa by now.
Well, shit.
If so, I'd never be able to live with myself, knowing I broke my promise to him.
Figure out how to stop Ulpius from killing himself. Well, we're probably already too late on this loop, but on another one. Perhaps I can help him too?
I doubt you could make it up to the bluff in time. I don't know who you are, or why you seem so determined to help me, but thank you.
Okay, I'll get right on it. Hang on, she's still got a load more to say though.
Oh, it's you again. Is everything all right?
What's your story?
You mean my life story? Oh, well, I grew up as part of a big family in Rome. Me and 3 older sisters. Our father found good husbands for my sisters, but I wasn't cut out for that kind of life. So he found me a job as a scribe for a prominent merchant. It was a good life for a while, until 7 months ago when the fires came. My colleagues and I worked desperately to try to protect our warehouse. We must have had 100 workers passing buckets of water, chanting prayers to Vulcan, but they fell on deaf ears. The fire was relentless and it claimed everything and everyone. Well, almost everyone. My employer told me to grab what valuables I could and flee for the Tiber with the crowds. I remember diving into the river and then the next thing I knew, I was waking up on the riverbank not far from here.
I'm sorry to hear.
Thank you. But to be honest, sometimes I think dying in that fire might have been a blessing, given what's happened since.
I understand. Do you know a way out? Nope.
If that's your idea of a joke, it's not funny. Go away.
Oh shit, we can't talk to her for the rest of it now?
I know what kind of
Man, yeah, I shouldn't have asked that. It was kind of funny though, Loki. Okay,
May Apollo keep you safe.
do you have anything different to say?
Feeling all right?
No.
That's a shame. Thanks again for saving Yulia's life. Apollo smiles upon you.
Who are you, stranger?
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step.
What's your story, Rufius?
Can't talk long, got to stay sharp, but family's from Seleucia on Tigris, Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions. The 6th. The one they call Ironclads.
How did you end up here?
Same way as everyone else.
Escaping the fire? Why are you still wearing your legionary armor?
Because we're all in grave danger. Is it not obvious?
I mean, I don't think the armor's gonna stop you from getting killed if someone breaks the golden rule. Why don't you have a weapon then?
Magistrate made me toss it in the chasm. Stupid. Going to have to improvise now.
Not much of a talker, hey?
If you were dealing with what I am, you wouldn't be either.
Okay. Are you talking about the rheumatism? This is that guy?
Nobody is supposed to know about that. Did Lucretia tell you?
I figured it out on my own.
Gah. Look.
Don't want to throw her under the
I
bus.
haven't been at my best lately. All my joints ache constantly, and the pain. It has a way of messing with your head. I get stirred up by things that shouldn't bother me, and then there's the statues, and my doubts about my faith. And I just want to scream. You want to help me? Do what Lucretia hasn't been able to do, and find me something to make the pain go away. Until then, get out of my face.
Well, alright. Good chat. Hello?
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land. Greetings, I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst.
He seems happy.
We must stick together, you and I. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know, from which exotic part of the world do you hail?
My nation doesn't exist yet. I'll go with no one ever, like, believes that or anything, apart from the dude in charge, so I'm gonna say this one.
Then you are an explorer, like me. Wonderful. You must have many stories to share. I cannot wait to hear them. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps?
Information would be lovely. What's your story?
My story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the forum.
Why set up a tailor shop here?
You mean to say, with all the turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule and so few customers, why bother setting shop at all?
More or less.
I'll tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind my friends of the importance of looking one's best. I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree?
I suppose.
Oh, and there is another reason too. If we all end up as golden statues for future generations to marvel at, I don't know about you, but I would like to look my best.
So how did you end up here?
A good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself.
Why don't you tell me what you do remember?
I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares, and drowning in coin, I decided to celebrate my success. I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few select friends, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could buy. Quite a lot of it, in fact. Now, I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but none of that compares to this. This time, I remember people screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation, gasping for air, and then nothing.
Yep, the fire.
When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles from my villa.
So you floated down the Tiber?
Indeed. I'm lucky I was carrying a little extra weight. I believe it kept me afloat. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I am.
Wait. Am I also Roman? No, because I'm wearing modern day clothes. But that description is exactly what happened to me, right? I was found floating down the Tiber, and that woman found me and fixed me up and sent me in here. And then I fell down the trapdoor and here I am, but it sounds like he's saying that happened to him in his present day and he fell down the trapdoor and remained in his present day, which is where I am now. Whereas I went down there and everything was fucked, and then I took the time portal to get here. But that is a very sassy thing that his description of arriving here is the exact same as mine. We don't actually know anything about ourselves.
Anything you like.
Huh. Do you know a way out?
Shh! Not so loud! What are you playing at?
I mean, are we not allowed to talk about it, or?
Have you not been told about the last attempt?
No.
Oh, then I suppose this duty falls to me. It is a long story.
Go for it.
Of course, the first question any of us asks when we first arrive is, how do I escape? It is only natural after all. and scaling the chasm wall is out of the question, for it is simply too steep and too far. But as they say, if the wind fails, use the oars. And here the second option is to leave the way we came in, through the shaft above the bathhouse. See, the shaft is quite high, but if one gathered up enough wood, one could make a series of ladders and climb one's way out.
So, why hasn't anyone done that yet?
They have. I am getting to that. There was an attempt, made by resourceful fellows who lived here some years ago. They even decided to keep records of their escape attempt for posterity. Unfortunately, as soon as they began to carry the first ladder down the hallway, they heard a godlike voice shake the entire city, and that, tragically, is where their tale ends. So it seems that to merely attempt escape is to invite the wrath of whichever god oversees this place.
Huh.
And so I say, it is best to not even discuss it aloud.
Yeah, I would agree. Got it. So what do you think about the golden rule then?
Ah, yes. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. As a Greek, this is nothing new to me. It is how our gods operate.
Why do you say that?
Have you not heard the tale of the god Hades? He was the first to learn this dreadful lesson when he abducted Persephone and imprisoned her in the underworld. When Demeter, the mother of Persephone, learned of this, she did not punish Hades, the guilty one. Instead, she changed the climate of Earth so that it became hot and dry. Nothing grew. The grain turned to empty husks and the rivers dried up. Innocent people died by the tens of thousands until at last the other gods were forced to act, lest they have no worshippers left. So yes, we know this rule. This has always been the case. The Golden Rule has merely brought it into focus.
What can we do about it?
If we are to survive, I say we must each keep the simple wisdom of Thales of Miletus, first of the 7 sages of Greece, who said, "Avoid doing what you would blame others for doing."
Sounds simple enough, but yeah, easier said than done.
Regrettably, I think you are correct, my friend. For even if 99% of us adopt this principle, that will never be enough. Sadly, no matter how well we protect ourselves, the life's work of many good people can be undone in the blink of an eye by a single selfish act.
Yeah, I've seen it happen.
Ah, the voice of experience. I am sorry for your loss, my friend. But on a lighter note, I will say one thing for the Golden Rule. For all their grim and haunting poses, these golden statues do make magnificent models for my clothing, do they not?
Who are you voting for?
That, my friend, is quite the dilemma. But after some reflection, I'm leaning toward voting for MacLeod.
Oh, you hate to hear it.
I do not enjoy the thought of another visit from Domitius if I voted the wrong way.
So he's just voting out of fear.
Nothing comes to my mind, my friend.
I mean, we take out
My
Domitius.
story?
Whoops! Oh
How
no,
kind of
god
you
damn
to
it.
ask. I am
Oh, okay, thank god, you can hard skip.
anything you like.
I'll be off.
I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
Cool, okay, good chat, good chat. Your turn. What does this say? Sinner.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil. I hear we have you to thank for saving Julia's life. I'm glad you arrived when you did.
What's your story?
Well, I'm an architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe what I do here. Help out with repairs and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people. That kind of thing. But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious architecture or mysterious history of this place.
Correct. Tell me about the history.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Some of these shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago, which means Romans have been arriving here for at least that long. But there's one thing that puzzles me. The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure. It could mean that the Romans, who first started building here, were just copying Greek architecture, which they do all the time. Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Which begs the interesting question, who really built this place? And could it be far older than any of us imagine? If only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us.
If only, man.
The stories they could tell.
Tell me about the architecture.
Gladly. Personally, my favorite thing about this place is the aqueducts. Those series of adjoining arches. They're an ingenious feat of Roman engineering with a very practical purpose. They take fresh water coming from outside the city and distribute it all across the chasm. It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the great temple. Some of it flows down into another cistern beneath the villas, and the rest is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake and allows us to fish and farm.
Very nice. If they bring water into the city, could we use them to escape?
Hey, not so loud. Just talking about that could anger the gods for all we know. I'm not saying it's impossible.
I feel like the
But
gods
you'd
have
to find a
great
way
hearing,
inside somehow.
because they are gods.
Just, please, try to be a bit more discreet about it.
Figure out how to get into the upper cistern. Okay, tell me about the temple up on the bluff.
You mean the Great Temple? This one's a bit of a mystery. Given the way it's positioned so prominently, looking down on us, it's clear that whoever built it felt it was the most important temple in the city.
For sure.
Unfortunately, someone else went out of their way to keep its purpose a mystery. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But it appears some barbarian defaced it. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that contains the treasury. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? And could it be the one responsible for the Golden Rule? Unless somebody
Could be.
figures out a way inside, I suppose we'll never know.
Alright, let's talk about something else.
Of course.
Do you know a way out? Is he just going to mention the ducts again?
You wouldn't believe how often the new ones ask that question. But I'd tell you the same thing I tell everyone else. There are much worse places to live out your days. You might have a few sleepless nights thinking about the Golden Rule, but once you get used to the fear, knowing that a single slip-up could cost you everything, it's not too bad. Nothing new to me, anyway.
What do you mean?
Oh, I just mean I grew up in the Batavi tribe, far to the north in Noviomagus, and learned to expect a bit of hostility. They weren't nearly as tolerant as the Romans.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
Some people say it's divine, the work of a god, but I'm not so sure. It just seems so flawed to me. Like it's distinctly human. I mean, once you've been here long enough, you'll notice people doing things that just seem so wrong to you. But this so-called god doesn't seem to care.
Like
which
price
means
gouging
one of
those
two
drugs.
things. Either you don't know the difference between right and wrong, or this unknown god doesn't. And I'm pretty sure I know the difference. Do you?
I think so.
Good. Then I hope you'll agree that there are only two ways of dealing with unfair rulers. The first is to leave. The second is to remove the ruler from power. And it seems leaving may not be an option.
How do you remove a god from power?
Good question. It's best if I say no more, but I hope you'll give it some thought.
Yeah. That is a very interesting thought indeed. I noticed the graffiti. Why does someone think you're a sinner? Is it because you're talking about shit like that, maybe?
Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company.
Yeah, well, fuck that person then.
Hey, nothing gets by you, huh? Sorry, that was mean. Yes, I like men. And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagos, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world, with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi.
I'm sorry to hear.
Nice of you to say, but not necessary. In any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am. Or at least, I thought that was the case. It seems I was wrong.
Feels bad. Do you know who's writing it?
It's not just graffiti. I have quite the collection of handwritten notes too.
Yeah, I went and read them.
The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person.
Then they're probably not about
If I
that.
had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists.
Cultists?
Strange bunch. They insist there's only one god, and that he considers my nature a sin. Can you believe that? If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year and went into hiding.
Oh, interesting.
All I know is
You think
if
they were
these threats
responsible?
keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the golden rule.
Let me look into it.
What? Really? I didn't expect that. But thanks. It's always a pleasure to meet someone so selfless. I'm glad you arrived when you did. I'd start by figuring out who the cultists are. Or maybe ask around among the merchants here. Someone who lives or works in the forum must have seen something. But if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. I suspect they're just confused.
I'll see what I can do. Who are you going to vote for?
Well, Malleolus is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And while it's all a bit vague, at least he has a vision.
Man, we do not like Malleolus. Anything I can do to change that?
My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking.
Well, in that case, I'm off.
Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, I feel like he's done something else that he's not telling us about. Because if he isn't with anyone at the moment, and he doesn't think anyone here knew him from before, then it's not that, right? So it's something else he's done that is causing him to get graffitied up. Right, so our destination is up there, but that is where we will leave it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed, if you could leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share the videos around, share the playlist around if you can. I would really appreciate that.
For the last time, Dacius,
We've heard this before, right?
I'm making you a bow.
But why?
You know why.
But how am I going to defend myself against someone else with a weapon?
There are no other weapons in the city. We all went along with the magistrate's weapons ban, so it wouldn't be an issue.
That's why I've got to get in first before someone else beats me to it.
There we go. Thanks for watching. See you then.